I talked about Luna in the last video, Terra Luna, and I mentioned it was down to like $10 or $20 or something. Well, that was a long time ago. That was a few days ago. It was actually about $120 about 2 weeks ago. This story is crazy. Just hang around for this. You're not going to believe this story. So it was 120 bucks, and then they did it. If you don't know about it, it's a coin called Terra, and the symbol is Luna. I always just call it Luna. I didn't even know it was called Terra. I actually didn't know much about it until this week when. So they started a stable coin. Remember me laughing at stable coins? Well, this is the worst stable coin ever, because stable coin's supposed to stay near $1, and this one went down to like 10. It's around 10 cents right now. And the whole thing was, it was an algorithmic stable coin. And hang on. And so it's not really backed by anything, but they did buy a ton of Bitcoin. That's what was supposed to kind of back it. And the other backing for it was supposed to be Terra or Luna. And it's a long story, but the crypto vigilante guys have written about it numerous times in the last year. The most recent was in like February. It's like 2 months ago. And I'll put it on screen. Here's what they wrote. It was actually March. Back in March, TCV crypto asset analyst Mr. Z issued a stark warning to our members about the death spiral risks of so-called stablecoins like Luna. So it's from the March edition. Regardless, getting too excited about Luna UST for me is difficult because their conversion process doesn't even have lockup times. In other words, they seem to be unabashedly embracing the prospect of a death spiral doom loop downward if confidence in the asset is ever tested. Sellers of UST would beget more sellers, which would beget more sellers, and so forth, causing Luna to implode. The fact that as of this writing, the market cap of Luna is only 2 times the market cap of UST would be completely insane to me, perhaps, but for the next point. That's barely any buffer at all, and all it would take is a hiccup for a massive unwind to hit. With this perspective, I would not feel comfortable using UST as a reliable store of value. Yes, they wrote that in March. They actually wrote about it last year too, saying it's not going to work. And just so you know, the TCV analyst guys they're basically all Satoshi. Super smart guys. Like Mr. Z, billionaires ask them where they should put their funds in crypto. And so he understands all this stuff incredibly well, and he wrote about it at TCV. So if you had known that and you ended up not buying it or shorting it, you would have been so much better off. But you know what's funny? When he first posted that article, I heard so many people complaining. A bunch of people unsubscribed. This is so typical. It's actually really not easy to run a financial newsletter, just so you know. Because a lot of times when you're right about something, you're not right away. And it really pisses off a lot of people who don't want you to be right about it. And they get all mad. And it's not until after it all happens the way you said that some people figure it out. But you really don't get a lot of you get a lot of people just attacking you all the time. But how incredible was that? Like, that's one of the calls of the entire crypto market since its beginning, is that a month and a half or 2 months before Luna went from $120 to, get this, 0.000001 cents. And how do I know that exact number? I'm going to get into that. Because on top of TCV making one of the best calls of all time, and no one talks about him. Who are like the popular guys, right? It's like, you know, Max Kaiser and Paul Pliano, who's like a big Musk fanboy. And, you know, nothing against Max is a friend. He's been to my house and stuff. But, like, he doesn't really know much about crypto, really. I think he got into Bitcoin because of me, really. But anyway, that's it doesn't matter. My point is, like, no one knows about Mr. Z. Isn't that funny? Like, he made a call. Like, all that Kramer does on CNBC is make the exact opposite of the right calls every single day. Like, he was like, buy Netflix, it goes down 90%. Buy Bear Stearns, it goes down 100%, like days later. And he's like really famous, right? And he's on the television programming. But Mr. Z, no one knows who it is, and he made that call. So it's been a wild few days. And by the way, I'm gonna tell you how I made a fortune in Luna. And I know this is gonna piss off a lot of people who have lost a lot of money in the last week or two, especially if you had Luna. Here's what I have to say to that. I'm gonna actually give you some good information on why and how I did it, and how you could take this information and the next time not lose everything or make tons like I did. I'm gonna actually explain how I did it. It's actually pretty interesting. But yeah, most people are like, pentagon, hexagon, octagon, portfolio gone. And a lot of people got wiped out. When someone asks about your crypto portfolio, yeah, it's down 99%. Which, by the way, I'm gonna get into why you should never, well, you should really not do that. Never say never, right? But I'm actually, this is gonna be very uplifting and helpful if you can make it through. So if you're down right now a ton and you're like almost suicidal, watch this. It's not gonna make you feel bad, it's actually gonna give you some hope, okay? Because I'm gonna explain why this is all a big learning experience for anyone who got wiped out. But this is a little bit of a touchy subject because a lot of people did get wrecked in all this, right? And here I am, I'm gonna tell you how I made millions of dollars during this whole process, and it's actually amazing and fascinating, and I'm gonna tell you why, if you got killed, how you can make it so this is actually a positive experience. So where should I start with this? I guess I should start by saying that I saw TCV saying it's probably not going to work, but I didn't pay it that much attention. You know, there's tons of cryptos, and I never for some reason, nothing about Terra, Luna interested me ever. I just never was on my radar. But I noticed it was up to like number 4 or 5 on the crypto list, and all of a sudden they're buying tons of Bitcoin, and there was something going on, but I didn't short it. That's not how I actually made quite a bit. That's what's so fascinating about this. If I was smart, I would have really paid attention to TCV's thing, and when it started to go down from like 100 to like 50 or 40 or 30 or 20, I would have done futures leverage shorting and could have made actually billions, but I didn't because I wasn't paying that much attention. And actually when it started to happen, I was like a lot of people, because, you know, it was 120, that's 100, then it's 50, then it's 10. And from that point on, it was just like hours that it went from like 10 to like nothing, like 0.000001. And I know that number very well, and you'll see why in a second. And so there was no time to really short it. So I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like fascinated, like what's going to happen here? Like, this was like huge. It was a multi tens of billions of dollar coin, maybe even hundreds of billions, I don't know. Yeah, I think it might have been. And within like 3 days, it goes from hundreds of billions to 0.000001 cents. And I kind of knew the reason why it had. We knew that this is one of the problems with algorithmic so-called stable coins. And so then it goes to like 1 cent, and then I'm watching it, and you could just see like just waves of selling. And what had happened, and I'm no expert, by the way, on how this all works technically, but this is my understanding of it, is UST, the tether that's tied to Luna, starts going down massively, and in order to try to keep it tethered to the $1 mark, they had to print up more Lunas and sell Lunas to cover the withdrawals from UST. And this is what Mr. Z, I think, was talking about in his write-up, is if this starts to go down for any reason, really, it could become a snowball effect where it goes down to like 0.000001. And that's what happened. And there's a lot of theories out there about who did this. You know, here's my take on that. A lot of people think it was BlackRock and Citadel, I think, who borrowed some BTC, knew that they could probably scare the UST market. They borrowed tons of Bitcoin. This is one of the biggest theories. It's one of the ones that makes the most sense. Shorted the Bitcoin, so sold it, and started shorting UST to get it down. So once it got down to like 90 or 80, people started to panic, and that's what they wanted. So they panicked it all the way down to like, it's now 10 cents. They probably shorted Luna too. Whoever did this might have made tens or hundreds of billions of dollars. If it was a plan, and it could have been a plan, but it might not have been. That's how, like Mr. Z said, that this thing is not set up properly. Like any sort of hiccup, he said a hiccup could send it to zero. So it doesn't have to be that this was a conspiracy, but it could have been. Yeah, they're turning up the music here. Got parties going on. So, actually I'm gonna walk away from the music. We'll walk down here somewhere. So anyway, getting back to the story, this is fascinating, by the way. So it goes down below 1 cent, and then it's like 1/10 of a cent, then 100th of a cent. And I just started watching it, and I'm like, how low is this going to go, like to like zero exactly? So I'm watching it, and all of a sudden it just starts going down like 0.0001, 0.00001. And I was thinking, I'm going to start buying. I actually bought a little bit around then. But then I'm like looking at the bids, and I'm like, if this keeps going for like another hour, it's going to run out of bids. And I could see that it was printing or minting tons of Luna and just auto selling it. And so I was just fascinated as a study in what can happen with these things. And actually, I was watching it right before it went to like 0.000001 on Binance. And I took a little video and I sent it actually to my Crypto Vigilante guys. And here's me as it's about to run out of bids. Holy shit, I've never seen the bids run out. Look, it's about to run out. 0.0001312. There's only a couple bids left. What happens after that? Holy shit. Oh, there's like 3 billion being bid at 0.0001. Maybe I should bid a little there. Huh? Yeah, maybe I'll get a bounce. Let's see, 0.0001. $0.0011. I've got like $300 here, which will buy me 3 million Luna. But there's like no bids. Holy shit, there's like, after 0.0001, there's just a couple at point. Oh, this is crazy. Yeah, I was sitting there watching that. I was waiting for some tacos, and you were going crazy watching that. So it almost hit no bids right after that, and then it hit no bid. And the only bid, here's the interesting thing. This is like unbelievable. So here's the super interesting part. So it got down to 0.000001, and it became very obvious to me at that point that Binance couldn't go another zero further. Like the most bottom it could go was 5 zeros and a 1. And but I could see the selling kept coming in. So I just started bidding at 0.00000, at first 0.2, and I actually had to I couldn't get it all at 0.000001 because, and here's something also interesting. Apparently, who would have known this until 2 days ago? Binance has a maximum amount of tokens you can buy at one time, apparently. and it's 9 million tokens. Because I was trying to buy hundreds of millions of tokens at a time, or billions. I ended up with billions of Luna, by the way. I'll get into that. This is like very interesting. It's the craziest, one of the craziest things I've ever been a part of. So, there we go, Lucy. Yeah, it's a little quieter over here. It sounds pretty good. So yeah, the max you could buy was 9 million. But here's the other thing on Binance that I didn't know until 2 days ago, is they have a minimum buy order size of the equivalent of 10 US dollars. So 9 million Luna at 0.00001% or 1 cent turns out to be, I think, less than $10, or it's something like that. So it would actually give me an error. It would say, no, either you're trying to buy too many, more than 9 million, or you're trying to pay too cheap, and it has to be a minimum of like 10 bucks. So I'd bid at like 0.0000011 or 12 or something like that, right? Sometimes I could buy it at 0.0000001. I'm not sure why. But anyway, so I'm saying to my guys, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like, this is the lowest it could possibly go. So, you know, talk about buying low and selling high, right? So I'm sitting there, it's like, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night my time, 2 nights ago, and I had 9 million copied on my clipboard, because I hadn't used Binance that much before, and I didn't know how to like automate trades or anything. I think I was on, I don't know, but if I had known how to use Binance more, I would have made way more money. But I would have to just hit paste 9 million. I'd have the price at about 0.00001 or sometimes 11 or 12, and it would just instantly get filled. Like, this thing was selling like crazy. They ended up minting over 1 trillion new coins in like an hour. And these coins get minted, sent to Binance, and like market sold. And as far as I could tell, there wasn't that many people buying it at 0.00001, except for me. So I'm sitting there. It's so crazy to me. Just buying as much as I can, but I can only buy $10 at a time. That's the max, because you can't buy more than 9 million. And if there's a workaround that, if I would have known that at the time, I would have made way more, but I ended up making millions on this, so just hang in. So, and it's still not over, it's still going up. But, so my wife comes in, and she's like mad at me. She's like, I've been texting you for like 30 minutes about something important, and you haven't even checked your messages. And I looked at her and I went, look at this, 0.00001. That's the lowest it can possibly go. I'm either gonna lose everything or make a fortune here. Just let me sit here hitting Control V, enter, buying 9 million coin tranches of Luna, which I did for like about an hour, until I got up to about 5 billion. I had 5 billion tokens. I owned, what is that, like 5% of all the outstanding Luna at the time? And the funny thing is, the story's so crazy. I had 5 billion Luna. A week ago, a week from that day, if I had 5 billion Luna, it would have been worth $500 billion or $500 billion. And you know what the total cost for me was? It was about $5,000. I couldn't buy more. I wanted to, and actually it got down to 0.00001. And it started to like freeze, and there was errors. I think the program was like, I don't know what to do. So it's like, what night was it? Today's Saturday, so it must have been Thursday night. Yeah, it was. So Thursday night around 9 at night, all of a sudden Binance freezes. And then I hear that they're gonna delist it. And I'm like, well, I'm either losing $5,000 or could possibly make fortunes here. And you know, I actually, at the time, I didn't want to buy much more than like $10 or $20 or $30,000, right? Everyone's got a sort of a limit of what they don't mind losing instantaneously, which is what this looked like, right? Like the crypto vigilante guys are like, Jeff, you're crazy. The thing's done. It's at zero. And they're about to delist it. But I know a lot from stocks that have done stuff like this, like Brex actually. So if you're not into crypto, and if you don't want to learn what to do to make a lot of money, then you can just hit end or click off. So in 1993, I started an internet company in Canada called Stockhouse.com. It's still around. I sold it for like $1 million or $2 million. Actually, more than that, $5 million, but I got about $1 million out of it. And in like 2002. But Stockhouse really took off. It's basically like Motley Fool or Yahoo Finance or Google Finance from 1993. And with Canadian stocks in particular, like we really focused on those. Even though we were in about 8 different countries, we had a market cap of like $240 million. But anyway, man, the music, sorry. Mexico is just all parties. Just nonstop music and parties here. A little different than Shanghai. It went down to $1 and I bought a bunch. And then it just popped up to $2 on like, you know, just a little bounce, and I sold. So a lot of people know Brex is a scam, but I actually made a fair amount of money on Brex after it collapsed. And I did the exact same thing with Luna. So this is part of, I have a whole bunch of points to this that's gonna help a lot of people out if you wanna be helped, if you're interested in learning. This is all very fascinating stuff. So because of that, and in cryptos, there's another thing I know, is when you have a crypto, it's very hard for it to go to literally zero. It'll always end up at like 1 cent or 0.01 cents. It just doesn't go away. Like there's no bankruptcy court or anything, right? So once a coin's dead, it's not going to go just to zero. It'll be like 0.00001 or something, right? So I was looking at this Luna thing and going, all we need is for it to trade again, because at this point it had almost been delisted, and just have some hope, and this thing could go up a lot. So Binance takes it off, and I'm sitting there, it's like now 10 o'clock at night, my wife's like, come to bed, and I'm like, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm either gonna make a ton of money or lose like 10,000 bucks here, which is not a huge deal to me either, right? Like, it's like if I look kind of like happy and excited, and I'm sorry so many people have been wiped out this week, but this was like so amazing to me that I was doing this. So Binance delists it. So I go to CoinGecko, and the only exchange I could see, because everyone delisted all at once, it was kind of strange that way, but I guess once it goes to like 0.00001, for maybe it triggers like exchanges just delisted. I know that I think Binance won't even allow coins below a certain amount, but for some reason they restarted Luna, and thank you very much for that. I'll get into that in a second. But so the only exchange I could find was it FTX, I think it's called? It's got a sports stadium named after it too. Yeah, I think it's FTX. I don't even know, but I signed up super quick on it and tried to buy there, and then it stopped too. So now here I am. It's Thursday night. Luna is basically, as far as anyone's concerned, zero, and it's delisted everywhere. So I wake up in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, I might have just lost 10,000 bucks, but I do have 5 billion, literally 5 billion Luna, and it starts trading first at the FTX, and it's trading at like 100 times what I was buying it at, because I was buying it at 0.000001, and it was trading at 0.00001, which I think is 100 times, or is it 10? I don't know, it gets complicated at that point. So I started selling a bit, and then it gets listed on Binance again, which is out of the blue. Everything about this has been so weird because Binance delisted it, and they're like, we want to protect everyone, so they stopped it, but then they restart it, and all of a sudden people start buying. And before I know it, I'm up well over 100x. So from 5,000 to 500,000 in less than 12 hours, or about 18 hours maybe total. And the story doesn't even stop there. So I sold like half, right? I sold a few billion Lunas to, you know, get some of the profit, right? So now no matter what happens, I'm already up like, I don't know, $200,000 or $300,000, right? No matter what happens. But it just keeps going up. So I end up selling at 0.0003, 0.0004, 0.0005, or maybe there's 4 zeros, I don't know, it just gets complicated. But every time it goes up, like from 0.0003 to 0.0004, that's like a massive increase for me. Like every point, because I had it at the lowest you could possibly get it, 0.00000. Sorry, I kind of talking a lot about it, and it's not just that I'm excited I made so much, but how I made it is just unbelievable to me, that I nailed it so well. So I ended up selling a whole ton more around 0.0000304. It's right, as I speak, it's 0.000, it might be one more zero, but I think it's 0.0005. Which, if I had held on to my whole 5 billion, I'd be at 2.5 million right now, but I sold quite a bit. But I've still got some. I'm not gonna sell some. I'm hanging on to a few hundred million. It sounds so crazy. Luna. Oh, where's Lucy? Oh, they're there. I'm holding on to a few hundred million, and if this goes to like half a cent or something, I'll make another few million or 10 or 20 million. But I have like no risk really, because I've already made well over $1 million, probably $1.5 million in less than 2 days, buying it at the lowest possible price that was possible. And here's the thing that was to me just so unbelievable, it was surreal. No matter how many times I would hit buy for like 9 million coins, instant sell, instant buy, instant buy. Like I could have bought as much as I wanted. If they would have left it up for another hour, I would have bought like 20 billion coins, which right now is worth like, I don't know, $50 million or something. I don't know, it gets crazy. So anyway, okay, so that was wild, right? Like, and I kind of feel bad, you know, doing this video, because I know a lot of people watching probably have been destroyed in the crypto market in the last week or so. And particularly if you own Luna. But what can I tell you except for subscribe to our stuff, because if you would have known that, you could have made fortunes. Oh, man, that was wild.